Good morning and welcome back to the YouTube channel, everybody. Just wanted to say thank you to all the wonderful people that have visited my channel and have subscribed and shared. The channel's going great. Today we're going to do a continuation of the little mini characters that are Marvel inspired. I will get to DC. I've done quite a few little mini characters in my past, so this is kind of continuation of that. And a lot of people have always asked, and it's kind of funny because as artists we always strive to create images that have some kind of evoke some kind of emotion or somewhere around those, whether it's emotion, whether it's hate, whether it's, you want to have something. And it's always funny because a lot of people, I'll get comments in the not only on my blog but on some of the other places that I post, and it's always like, what paper is that? What pencil do you use? If I know what pencil you use, it will completely change my artistic life and it will be wonderful. And to me, the paper is just a part of the entire process. The pencil's part of the process. Of course, I want you guys to have the best supplies available and know exactly what the professionals use. But on the other hand, if you got crayons, use crayons. If you got lined paper, use lined paper, which is almost a sin. But this is the toned paper that I use. It's a Strathmore brand, toned. It comes in different tones. This happens to be the tan sketch paper. And I really like Strathmore. I also like Canson paper. Canson has a really nice tooth to it. Tooth is the basic feel of the paper, but this is really smooth. It takes marker really well, and it acts, whenever you draw on toned surfaces, it acts as a base, like a mid-tone for your colors, so you don't have to go directly on that stark white and kind of guess and put down a toned gray or whatever. Anyway, today's simple character is going to be Spider-Man. I had a request for it after I posted the Captain America Civil War piece that I did. Today is, of course, Monday. We all hate Mondays. I used to think Mondays were okay. I wasn't a huge fan. I hate Tuesday. I hate Tuesday because Tuesday, to me, I always had a saying, Tuesday is kind of like, for lack of a better phrase, it's kind of like the butthole of the week. And I'm sorry if you're offended by that, but at the end of the day, that's the way I looked at it. I don't know how you look at it. But that being said, you're like, well, what about the rest of the week? Well, this is the way I equate it to. So you have Monday, you're in shock. You're in shock from the weekend. You really don't know where you are. You're just kind of sitting there, you're going, what the heck happened? Where's my weekend? Tuesday, it's a solid work day, man. You're in there on time. You got your 2 cups of coffee, and it's a solid work day. There's no two ifs about it. It's literally the work day. Wednesday, of course, as we all know, is the weekly hump. You get over the hump. Ho! And then once you get the weekend, hump out of the way, Thursday is great because to me, it's the weekend slide. The weekend slide, basically, it's the weekend. The weekend might as well be here. And then Friday, oh man, Friday, you can't even call that a work day. Can't even call that a work day because, most of us are thinking about the weekend. You're planning the weekend, and that's the way I kind of look at it. It's fun, just a little fun. Of course, I'm not advocating any kind of, slacking or anything like that. But on the other hand, I just, I do have, philosophies and opinions. So anyway. So this doesn't look like much right now. It looks kind of like a mess. What I like to basically do whenever I do illustration and character work and concept work is, the page, to me, I like to be able to reach into the page. And, no matter what I'm doing, you got to think in terms of perspective, composition, all these things, and how it's going to work in the context of your picture. I spoke with a guy last night, not last night, but the night, what day is today? Today is Monday. So it'd be yesterday morning, and he was watching some of my videos, and he really liked how, you know, I took aspects of different artists and kind of meld them into my own, because it's part of the learning process. And that's true, and you need to do that for yourself as well. You know, learn from the masters, learn from everybody that you can possibly learn from. Absorb their, you know, absorb their style, absorb their, if you really love them, and enjoy what they do. Of course, tell them that you love them. It's always nice as artists to get emails and to get that positive affirmation. You know, if you hate them, obviously you don't want to, you know, say things in the context of, you know, you're terrible, you suck. Even if they do suck, you don't want to say that. There's always room for improvement. There's always, you know, you don't have that one guy that is absolutely perfect. You need to stay humble in what you do. But definitely learn. My goodness, learn something. Learn something every day. And again, you know, I kind of sound like a broken record, but you know, you really do. You really have to think, how can I improve this drawing? How can I make it better? How can I, you know, what story needs to be told? And ask yourself, what kind of story do I want to tell with this picture today? You know, I'm working on my story of Frank and Beans right now, and I'm consistently and constantly asking myself, what exactly is the story about? You know, is a story about friendship? Is a story about, you know, what type of environment? You know, what consistently saying, why do I need to tell this aspect of the story? And you know, ask yourself the question every single time you do a drawing. and you know, obviously don't get too introspective in it. But on the other hand, you know, you can't just do a drawing and not have, because it's going to affect some way, you know, somebody in some way. It's just like whenever you talk to somebody, your body actions, the way you dress, the way you look is going to affect them in some way, and they're going to remember that moment. Just like, you know, whenever you do a picture or an illustration or a design or graphic art or whatever, and that's one of the things you need to realize is that's going to affect somebody in some way, whether it's a positive way, which I hope that, you know, it will be, or it's going to be in a uber negative way, or even, you know, just a simple negative way. You need to consider that your drawings are going to have an impact in some capacity. And if you're in a professional environment, you know, the motivator for us as artists, you know, we have a kind of a dilemma, because as artists, we want to create and make something new and tell a story. But as business people, you know, the people who run business, or even if you are an artist that has your own business, you know, you have to basically look at it in terms of value. You know, what type of value does this particular image have? What type of value can it, foot goes up, I want it to go up. Nice straight line, and then we have curves on the bottom. You need to, you know, evaluate what kind of a value it has in terms of a dollar value, whether that, you know, the image took 10 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and what kind of a return does it get? Whenever I do these images right here, I view them as one of the most valuable commodities that I could possibly do, because it is a representation of not only myself, but of my process. And what a lot of artists fail to do is kind of sow and pay themselves back in terms of, you know, in time they spent on their drawings. You know, and that's something that I think is sorely lost in today's art market, where, you know, a lot of artists are just doing things for the mighty dollar, whereas, you know, even if I don't get paid for this, it still has value, it still has context, it still means something to me, because I'm learning something from it that I can apply to maybe another image that I am, you know, getting paid thousands and, you know, whatever, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I just think that, you know, you need to really look at what is a valuable direction for you. If you're, you know, a graphic designer, if you're, you know, per se not an illustrator, you know, those images that you assemble, you know, you really have to put them together in such a way that they you know, tell a story. And I try to do that in basically all my work. But in terms of time, these images are, you know, very valuable to me. So basically what I'm doing now is I'm creating just a really simple composition. I've placed him slightly off center his head. I don't want him directly. This would be probably directly in the center of the page. You want basically, whenever you have the rule of thirds, your page is divided into 3 sections. Typically, the most attractive images, you have the subject matter placed over here. If he's looking in this direction, okay, I want this to have more space than over here. Because if I place it over here, the subject in your eye line is going to go over here because this has more of a negative space connotation. So if I place the image over here and I place it on this third right here, on these 2/3 right here, and he's looking this direction, suddenly you realize, oh, the subject matter is on him and it's not directly in the center of the page, it's up a little bit. So I have nice directional movement here, and he kind of has this the whole look going this way. And, whenever I have this negative space up here, I basically start to tell the story that, Spider-Man is swinging through the air. It's a simple thing, but on the other hand, it is something that you need to consider. And then his arm placement is important. I want this arm to come here because he's got a kind of like a, he's holding this. Comes around here. Okay, so at this stage now that I've kind of roughed in my basic forms, and what I'm going to do now is just basically start defining my character. I'm not going to really go too into detail with the buildings. I might give just a little indication, maybe some lines or whatever. That they're there. I mean, you could do some really cool things with the buildings. This is just coming here. Okay, comes up, around. So what I'm going to do now, So what I'm going to do now, basically, is I'm going to put it on time lapse, and I'm going to go in and define what all these images are, or images, the lines and stuff, and define the character a little bit better, and then I'll end up inking it. But this isn't really supposed to be a long piece today. It's just supposed to be something simple. So that's what I'm going to try to keep it as. Then again, what happens whenever you fall in love with a piece as an artist? You go hog wild. I don't think I'll go hog wild on this one. This is just a simple one. I'm just trying to keep it light because it's Monday. I did a piece over the weekend that I really enjoyed, my Marvel piece, and then I did some more work on Beans, the my alligator that I work on. That I'm using Sketchbook Pro, which, by the way, is a fantastic program. If you haven't picked it up, I highly recommend you pick it up. It is a great tool for illustrators to do simple sketch work. Also, complex illustrations. It's got great tools. Some of the symmetry tools, which I think Photoshop is lacking, which always makes me laugh because Photoshop's supposed to be this wonderful, kind of catch-all, and I think that's kind of to its detriment. It's a catch-all, and it doesn't specialize in any one particular what am I trying to say? It doesn't specialize in any one particular... See, this is what happens whenever Monday happens. Anyway, it doesn't specialize in any one facet of design. It's kind of a catch-all. It does pretty much everything, which is awesome, but it does everything okay. I've been using Photoshop for a very long time, and I definitely love the program. I just like to explore, new ways of doing things. So that's kind of where I'm at recently, determining what program that I like to use for certain things. And anywho, so I'm gonna go ahead and put her on time lapse, and I'll probably do a wrap up at the end, just something simple. I've got a lot of things to do today, so I can't really spend a ton of time on this particular illustration, so I'll probably get a finish or final really quick on this one. And hopefully it turns out to where, you know, I feel good about it even posting it. So hopefully this will make it. You know, I had last Monday, just a disaster. You know, last week's videos were poop because I think I only did one video. So anyway, that happens, guys. You know, as artists, we have certain weeks that are incredible, and other weeks are like, You know, you want to have those days and weeks that, you know, aren't very often, but on the other hand, you guys, they happen. Anyway, so enjoy, and we'll see you on the other side. Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you for visiting my channel. I hope you enjoyed the Spider-Man video. There's going to be a lot more videos coming soon. I'm going to be doing some more tutorials and digital illustration tutorials. I am wrapping up Beans, so I should be posting that particular video soon. And if you have any questions or comments or even requests for characters, I look forward to seeing them in the comments below. And as always, draw something every day. Try to experiment and look to the future, and always know that a tree is not chopped down one swipe at a time, unless it's a small tree. If you want those big accomplishments in your life, you need to take them one little chop at a time. So I appreciate it. Once again, share and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.